Today, I would like to do a little bit of a ramble as I have a few different Rolex references in front of the camera today. We have the 40 millimeter day date in yellow gold with the champagne dial and the Roman numerals. This is my own personal watch. And then we have a couple different Rolex sport references. We have the LV Sub or the Cermet, the Starbucks, whatever you want to refer to it as. We have that here as well as a 5-digit Rolex reference, the 16753 Root Beer GMT Master 2. So we have these three. I've got a couple other watches here too, just for the ambiance of it. But I'd like to do a little bit of a ramble, talk about my experience with this 5-digit Rolex GMT Master 2 and how I'm kind of fallen head over heels for this multiple decade old reference that in some ways is way better than my day date or modern sport references like this sub, but in other ways falls way behind. I'd like to just relate the things going through my mind, and you tell me if I'm totally crazy or what you think of my sentiments in the comments below. I welcome all that discourse. Now, pros to this root beer. I love the slender, seemingly thinner proportions here with the smaller markers. I really think that this is classy and elegant and sophisticated, and it just feels perfect on the wrist. When you compare it to, say, this green bezel sub, you really see how the sub has gotten chunky and beefy with the crown guards and the lugs. It really feels like a different watch compared to the more slender or svelte 5-digit Rolex reference. And, you look at the finishing. There's a difference in the finish work. The GMT Master 2 has circular brushed lug tops with polished chamfered edges. I think there is a little bit more finesse displayed in the finish work when you compare it to this LV sub. And overall, there's less shine and pop and polish. And I think that's really aided by the fact that this has an aluminum bezel insert. And then given the fact that this is a later gen GMT Master 2 that had the no holes case, it has the Super Luminova. This, I don't know, it's still an older watch, but it doesn't feel like a vintage piece or a neo-vintage piece. But you're still getting some of those nice details like the aging of the date wheel. Notice how creamy that's getting and how that perfectly ties into the chocolate sunray brown and the gilt text that's found on this sunray dial. I just think that this is a treat in every aspect visually. It's so beautiful. And then again, on the wrist, it just feels special. That said, it has hollow center links. It has a pretty stretchy bracelet. It has a totally ridiculous pressed metal clasp, no toolless micro adjust. It really is a joke when you compare it to how solid modern Rolex bracelets are and how fantastic their clasps are, their micro adjustment, different designs when it comes to glide lock or easy link. I even look at the tech in my day date. This day date has ceramic coated pins, so this bracelet will never stretch out. It will never sag. It will never feel cheap or chintzy in the way that this GMT Master 2 bracelet will feel over time. I think that 5-digit Rolex compared to 6-digit Rolex, it really feels like a completely different brand, but in a good way, if that makes sense. One could make the argument that Rolex has certainly improved aspects of their products, like more robust movements with longer power reserves, definitely better bracelets and clasps, but they have lost some of that charm as they've moved up market in price, larger in size, and today they are definitely more seen as a status symbol than they ever have been in years or decades past, and that's something to take note of. Now, this particular root beer, this is the least desirable GMT Master 2 that they made in this era. Most watch collectors, they shop Pepsi, then they shop Coke, or they shop all black. And even though this root beer has small amounts of yellow gold, when it comes to the crown, the bezel, the center links, the pricing is pretty much exactly on par with the all steel versions that carry no precious metal. And as of the time of recording this video, they're going for between $11,000 and $14,000. So certainly not, an inexpensive product, especially for something that's 20 plus years old or close to 20 years old. But there is still, I don't know, there's still something about it, and I'm going to attempt to describe it. But this root beer was not a popular model even when it was new, when you could walk into an authorized dealer and see, a fully stocked case. You could negotiate a discount. Even back then, the root beer was not a heavy mover. So the only people buying them were people that absolutely loved the color. They loved the design. They loved this chocolate brown and what is that, goldish gold. I don't even know how you describe this bottom portion of the bitone aluminum bezel insert, but they just loved the look and the style. And that's why I like it, because this is not a model that you chase because everybody else wants it, because relatively speaking, very few people are shopping for a 16753 root beer. They're shopping for the Pepsi, they're shopping for the Coke, they're shopping for other products. And so this is not a hype model. And I like the non-hype model Rolex references, especially when they are drop dead gorgeous like this root beer is. So here's a question. Let me end with a couple things that are going through my mind. Could this Rolex root beer, could it replace my day date in rotation? I used to wear the day date almost every day, and then I started going with the left-hand drive more, other references more, and now the day date is more reserved for special occasions. I don't wear it every day, but I still wear it regularly. And let me be clear, I love wearing it. I love this watch. It's a fantastic watch. And yes, it is a better and more valuable watch than the GMT Master 2 root beer. But in my couple weeks with this 5-digit root beer that I have on loan from my friend John, I've had as much, if not more, enjoyment while I've been wearing it. I'm less, I'm less aware of this watch on my wrist as I go about my day-to-day activities, as opposed to wearing a full gold piece. This is not an instantly recognizable Rolex. I think it would be if it was a Pepsi, but this one definitely flies under the radar more, but still has that precious metal magic, so to speak. So I've been thinking about, hey, what if I replaced the day date with the GMT Master 2, banked a lot of money in the watch budget? What if I flipped out of the day date? Could I be happier with this GMT Master 2, or would I totally regret moving on from the day date? There's an argument to be made that I just save the $11,000 to $14,000, maybe sell a few lower end pieces from my collection and add this to the day date. That sounds very appealing as well. The other thing I want to consider, and this is maybe out of left field, but if I did sell the day date and bought a root beer, there's another Rolex that is super similar to this one that I have my eye on, and that is a Surti Sub, meaning a gem set Submariner two-tone. I like the silver and the blue, but there are different references out there. What if I replace the President with a two-tone root beer that nobody wants and a really obscure Surti Sub reference? That could be a lot of fun. Or do I continue to add to the Rolex Sub collection within my rotation and eventually add a Surti Sub and a root beer in addition to this day date? It's a lot of things that I've been thinking about. There's pros and cons to it all. I'm in no hurry to make a decision. Today, I just wanted to ramble a little bit about the magic of 5-digit Rolex Sport references, particularly this root beer, and how special they are, even though they fall short in some aspects when you compare it to modern Rolex. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you would do in my position. Again, I'm in no hurry. I'm just mulling things over in my mind right now, but maybe I make a move this year. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching today. Thank you to my friend John for lending in these two Rolex references for presentations. I really appreciate that. If you like this video, please hit like, Please subscribe to my channel. That certainly helps me a lot with the algorithm. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.